and welcome to Okay Seriously with Natasha. This is a show specifically created to be an open platform where anything goes. I'm your host, Natasha Jameson. This is my passion, and I hope that I inspire you to live your own. We are so excited to have with us today Trevor and Yvette Greenall. They are artist co-directors from Ink to Scalp in Whitby. So this husband and wife duo have been helping change the way people feel about their balding and thinning hairline issues with advanced techniques in scalp micropigmentation. Together, Yvette and Trevor are professionals holding senior and junior SMP artist co-director positions at Ink to Scalp. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you so much for being a part of this. I'm so excited.
Yeah, thank you.
Because I've wanted to interview you guys for a very long time.
Yes.
And we finally had the opportunity.
I know, yeah, right?
So the journey begins with you asking a very simple question. If you could change it, would you? I think that's brilliant, and it's a great segue into what we're talking about, obviously.
Yeah.
Because I ask our viewers who have any sorts of hair loss issues or anything that's really bothering them, if you had the power to change it, would you change it? And I think the answer is obvious.
Yeah. And that's the thing, that's partly why we got into this, is because it's like, sometimes people just don't know that there's opportunities outside of the standard hair replacement services, and so it was something we wanted to bring forward to just say, hey, it's there.
Yeah.
It might not be for you.
Yes.
But maybe it is.
Absolutely.
Right?
So I want, because I know that this question probably, you've heard a variety of answers.
Yeah.
And I really want to know from both of you guys, how your journey began. Like, how did this all start? You don't just like wake up one day and say, you know what, I'm gonna be an artist co-director, scalp micropigmentation.
Yeah,
so they would love to hear this. My viewers would love to hear this.
So it all started actually with my husband, to be honest. He was obviously bald at one point, and I realized that there are ways that we can sort of help him and maybe make a change. So that sort of began our journey, and it really aligned with, it paralleled my history and my experience, and once we started to research it and discover the change that it can make, we kind of dove in with 4 feet.
So that must have been something that you were like really self-conscious about?
You know what, it was just something that...
or that you wanted to change?
There's only so much as a male you can do to, I guess, enhance things and change things that are just subtle areas to improve upon. And regardless of how well you eat or how much you work out,
that's true.
There's just genetic things that you can't change. And so with just kind of our research and journey, we came across this because of just the understanding of the eyebrow microblading. And through that kind of investigation, thinking, let's just touch up the back of my head, and that's definitely an extremely different process, where scalp micropigmentation is basically what I've had done to me with the work from Yvette. So it's interesting to be the guinea pig of the first start and go around of things, and that was basically through her time in apprenticeship that she had the guidance, and then the work was done on me. So it's definitely something that we aim for subtlety, but that it does make a huge difference in people's lives. Just a small area, but definitely.
Are you kidding me? That is something that they will only kind of divulge or express to anybody that they really, really respect and are comfortable with. That is something that's really, really deep.
Yeah.
Like
even if you think about it, even for women.
Oh my
with our
goodness.
hair, we're like, do we cut our hair? Do we not cut our hair? Do we dye our hair? Do we not? Like, there's so much. And men go through the same thing.
Of course.
Maybe it's just not mainstream or talked about like women talk about it.
Yeah.
But it's there.
Yeah.
So
exactly. So more women than ever, I'm sure, they're doing the microblading and even the scalp micropigmentation. But I think maybe some viewers might be a little bit confused about the two. Maybe you guys can explain that, because we jumped into that. So I just really want to make sure we tackle that.
So scalp micropigmentation is essentially the art of pointillism. So it's micro dots basically placed on the head, on the scalp, and the pressure and the angle of the needle and the ink you use and all that is very important. Whereas microblading is a little bit more like they drag the strokes. It's more of a stroke
Okay.
as opposed to a point,
Okay.
right? So it is very different. The inks are very different. The tools that you use are very different. So they are in the same arena, but exclusive in their own specification.
Of course.
It's also, I think, important to note that many men that have traditional tattoos, they associate it with the same similar kind of strategy, and it's definitely not. As Yvette mentioned, it's different equipment,
Yes.
micro needles
Yes.
for micropigmentation, and again the inks that we use are 100% non-toxic, non-carbon,
really
and
important.
vegan. So it's built by a wood ash. So again, in putting something into somebody's scalp, there's obviously a lot of questions that surround that, and so it's very different than the traditional type of tattoo. So.
Absolutely, because I would gather, because it's a semi-permanent, people still can react.
Yes.
If the inks are not, to the highest level, if they didn't know they were.
That's right, yeah. It definitely can. It is an organic carbon-based pigment ink, so I haven't, in my experience, had any reactions, but other than the regular, you might feel red or irritated on the day of treatment,
Of course.
similar to if a woman did get their eyebrows done.
Yeah.
But outside of that, no real major reactions, so that's
Okay.
And there's a lot of due diligence that we go through at
Absolutely,
the beginning. So
consultation.
we go through consultation and the medical background and things like that
for
as well.
sure.
for sure.
So I really believe and live and breathe every single thing that I'm speaking about, my passion, like I'm really passionate about it. I can see, like we resonate because I can see that it's a passion.
Yeah.
I call it being of service, but I think it's really important for the viewers to know, why do you do what you do? They need to know that, because that is exactly what's going to separate you. Because I can see it and I've heard it, but I want them to know that.
Oh, it's so, like, I wish I had words to do justice to how I feel when I'm doing the work.
Yes.
Because yes, I love the technique and the skill and all that sort of stuff, but what it gives back to people and the messages that I get from clients that, can't thank me enough, and it never gets old.
No.
And I'm giving back something to people, and the rewarding feeling is so great. The more I do it, the more like I want to do it. The more I want to, you can't exactly go out and scout out all bald men and say, so did you know? I mean, that's not appropriate. But if they find us,
Right, of course.
we're so happy to be right beside them.
And I think that's a really good point. It's the journey that when I say ink to scalp, it's two people that care about making a difference to someone.
And that's huge.
And so that's why I think it's
That
very
is
important.
huge. Yeah,
Exactly.
that's really huge.
Exactly.
She's speaking and I can feel, our viewers can probably sense it because energy is like, very, palpable.
Yeah.
But you can feel that you have your talents and abilities, and you literally change the way people feel and see themselves.
Absolutely, thank you.
Like they
That
will
means a lot
never,
to me.
how do you say thank you to a person that can give that to you? That's a gift.
Yeah.
So I feel like that is your service, like
Yes,
your passion.
it
I
is.
love that.
I feel like it's like what I'm meant to do.
Absolutely, you feel it, like it's a knowing.
Yeah, and it's like we partner so well because there are certain things in having a business that you're not good at, and there's certain things you are good at, and I'm good at doing the work.
Yes.
And the thing is that if you're doing great work but no one knows about you,
Right.
then how good is it, right? Like how great, you can only do so much,
That's
right?
true.
You can't change that many people if no one knows about you. And he helps me, share what I'm able to do.
Yeah,
And
I think that's a beautiful team.
it's
And
great.
you can see it in the reviews,
Absolutely.
unsolicited,
Yeah.
where we
Yeah.
have people come in where our business is strictly confidential.
Yeah.
But at the end of it, they're without a doubt pleased and willing to say,
Yeah.
you have anybody that is unsure about doing this, have them call me. And then they go and they
That
write a
is
novel
It's
review.
huge.
That is huge.
Yeah.
That is huge because you
So-
change like their inner dialogue with
Yeah.
themselves. They see
That's
themselves
right.
differently, right?
When you wake up in the morning every day,
Yeah.
like you feel different every day. It's not about one occasion or one moment.
No,
it's about your
it's
constant
consistent.
every day. So
Now, because we're talking about the great work you do, I'd love for you guys to share like a special story of a client that you like literally, is in your heart and soul because you changed. I'm sure there's so many.
but
There's so many.
I guess
or somebody that was very worried and fearful, and you made them like more confident in their decision? I'd love to hear that.
So there was someone that always stands out in my mind is actually a woman, and she wore a hairpiece for a very long time because she had what they call traction alopecia. And she called me, you know, a year prior to her actually following through with the service, and we talked about, you know, am I going to shave my head? Am I going to be able to do this? What are people going to think?
Sure.
She always said to me, but my hairpiece is my security, and I said, S&P is going to be your freedom.
That's right.
Right?
Yeah.
So we talked on FaceTime because it was through COVID and that stuff. So we talked often, and she finally got it done, and she still sends me selfies all the time.
Oh.
She looks beautiful, and yes, it's not
But
your
now
standard
she
male,
feels
but
it.
now, and she's,
Now she feels it.
it's just like I could feel the change. You know, through her messages and her photos, and she says, you know, I went to a party and I didn't have to wear a hairpiece, and my life is so different. I thought, so for me that one always stands out amongst the many. But how about you? Any?
There's one family man that came to us from a great distance, and his transformation was dynamic. He creatively had a way to do his hair every day that was extremely time consuming for a family man of 3, for having a full-time job and managing so many other things. It took him about an hour and a half to do his style, to conceal something that was something that bothered him. And so when he arrived and we walked through the consultation, and you know, he took off his hat and said, this is what I'm working with, he was fearful about the change, but excited about, again, the freedom that would come from it. And honestly, after his 3 sessions, 3 or 4 sessions he had.
We did 4 altogether. I know, and that one. Oh yes, it's with me also, because he says, I get up and I have like 10 minutes and I have a quick bite and I go, and it's like he used to get up at 4 in the morning to like give himself an hour to do his hair to leave, and I thought, oh my gosh. So
but I think the sweetest part of it all, and what
how
made
far
him
did he come? I'm just dying to, like, how far have people traveled?
That actually wasn't that far for us. So when we say about an hour and a half, that's actually not that far.
Yeah.
We've had,
finish your thought though.
But it was he messaged us and he said, I just want to let you guys know that I had a Zoom meeting with my colleagues after all of my procedures were done, and all of my colleagues thought that I was a new hire, that they didn't know who I was, but in a great way. They said, wow, you look amazing. We didn't know that it was, you know, he said, I just wanted to do kind of a COVID shave, because they knew him of having hair. And when he took it off, they thought, okay, this is what you were left with. So again, that's the beauty of the scalp micropigmentation, is we bring the realism to it, where it's very undetectable, unless you're looking for it, which nobody does.
No. So how far have people traveled? Because I'm sure there's been some stories.
Timmins was probably our farthest.
Ottawa.
Wow.
Yeah.
For treatments, for several treatments.
And again, this is the important part, is when we talk about Into Scalp and a journey with our clients, is that when we have clients 6 hours or 8 hours and they have to come 3 to 4 times, we understand that journey, and when they come, we want to make sure it's exactly what they're looking for, because they're not around the corner.
No.
And so we have to master it every single time. And so it's definitely been a distance. Nobody flying into to come see us.
Not yet.
Put it out there. Law of attraction. So we're talking about the consultation, and I know that some of like the concerns that people might have is, the regular stuff, like, will people notice that I did anything? Is it gonna hurt? How much is it gonna cost? Like, all these kind of things that are very relevant to their life, because obviously it's something that's imprisoned them on some level. So I just want to talk about like how you go through that. What can they expect from you guys?
So we both sort of do the consultations in tandem when possible, because I think it's really nice for people to see somebody in person, because sometimes online you don't always know what's true. And so, he'll come down and join us. But I basically walk them through the process, how many sessions it's going to take. The price is generally based on the Norwood scale and the Ludwig scale for women. And, it varies, but it really depends on how much hair we're working with, or how little hair we're working with, right? And then, everyone is really different in terms of how many sessions. Some people need just 2, some people need 3, sometimes a 4th. It really depends. But depending, like, everyone's situation and hairline, everything everything, there's no cookie cutter.
No.
Everyone
Okay.
is different. So even though a lot of people will come and they'll say, oh, look, I saw this person online, I love this hairline. But maybe for that person's frame, it doesn't look as well,
Yes.
right?
So I'm so glad you said that.
Yeah, so we go through, what hairlines, what look do you like?
Yeah.
And then I go and sort of draw on what I think suits them. And then him and I, or her and I, will work very closely and say, I like this, I don't like that. It's a very much a partnership between the client and myself.
Yeah.
It's not just, this is what you're gonna get, I've ordered this hairline, sorry.
Yeah.
I've ordered this hairline, that's what I want. It's very custom,
Yeah.
so.
And I also think that in helping educate our clients is what we aim to do.
Yeah.
But it's also understanding they're walking into our studio and they're already nervous
Yes.
and they have anxiety
Very.
because
Yes.
they're a man, in a way, is sharing an insecurity that they have.
Yeah.
And so
Yes.
for us to make the environment welcoming,
Yes.
understanding that it's, for many this may not be a big deal and I'm confident enough and I don't need it.
Sure.
That's okay. This is not maybe for everybody.
Yes.
But we really listen to their
Yes.
their issues, challenges,
Yes, of
and
course.
and then also say, what can scalp micropigmentation do for you?
Yeah.
And then it just rolls right into, we're going to make it what it will look the best.
Yes, of course.
And then we educate them on the needles, the machine, everything else that we go through.
The whole process,
But it's
yeah.
really kind of just working through that initial.
Compassion.
Exactly.
You have compassion because that is so
Yes.
important. You can, go to this website and you can see this
That's
and this is
right.
what we're going to do. We're going to give you this hairline.
Yes.
But when you can just
No.
sit still and just hear them,
Yes.
like you validate them
Oh my gosh.
in a huge way.
Yes.
And that's where the trust in
Yeah.
being a professional who's qualified and certified and the right
Yes.
clinic for them, comes into play.
Mhm.
So I think that that's another concern that some people have.
Yes.
They're not sure, like, am I making the right decision?
Uh-huh,
What
yeah,
clinic, what
sure.
practitioner? Because as we know, there's things that can be stolen
Oh,
online
yes.
and they can take your, before and after images and,
Right.
represent
Right.
them as their own.
Yeah.
And this is just a
It-
fact,
it
right?
happens.
That's just a fact.
It
Yes.
happens a lot.
Yeah.
It
So
does.
how can we,
Yeah, and that's the thing too, is that being discreet, listening to their stories, and being confidential with
Yes,
them
of
too.
course.
Some people are happy to share, and some people just don't want
That's
to. And there's you respect whatever they want,
Yeah.
So
We also encourage them to bring their loved one, their supporter,
That's
their,
right.
honestly their mother, their father, whoever.
yes,
Because for many, it's not just an individual, but it's like a change for everybody in the family
true.
yeah,
of knowing what bothered that person or what kind of change they'd like to have. And so it's an aesthetic thing, but it's an emotional thing at the same
Absolutely.
time.
yeah.
so ideally speaking, who is kind of like the prime candidate for SMP? Because I think there's a lot of like hair issues and traumas and a variety of things that
Yes.
people might not realize that you could help them with your
Yes.
expertise.
Yes.
So maybe we can kind of
Sure.
let people be aware.
Obviously, we all know the standard
Yes.
bald individual. Obviously, they would benefit from this, but there are so many cases, different variations of alopecia.
Just explain that because people may not know
Yes.
what that means.
So alopecia, there's a universalis, there's areta, and there's totalis, and basically
total?
yeah,
Mhm.
total,
Round
yeah.
patches
Yes,
Exactly.
and
and whole body.
yes, and full
Yeah.
body, yes.
Yeah.
And
I'm a hairstylist.
Oh,
so
so
it's-
there you go. You know. So you're like each other. Yeah. And so we are able to help those individuals too. I mean, there's a lot that we have discussed before. Is it dormant? Is it active? Are they on any medication for it? Like, there's a lot of things we have to go
Absolutely. Yes,
through.
that's true. That's true.
But we have helped many, so that is obviously an option there. There's also those individuals that may have had a hair transplant in the past, that are left with scars in the back, and
Yes.
maybe the transplant was successful or unsuccessful. We can look after just the scars, we can look after the rest of the scalp if it was unsuccessful, but we look after that too. And then there's also those that have had just general scars from a childhood
trauma?
injury or something like that, that they just don't want to be reminded of every day. So lots of different
Scenarios.
types, yeah.
Yeah, that is, I didn't realize that it's so extensive that you could
Yeah.
literally help like a variety of different ailments that happen in life. Like my son
Yes.
has like 2 scars here
Yes.
and cosmetic
Yes.
restoration was
Yes.
something that maybe, like if he's still uncomfortable, he's 11.
Yes.
If he's uncomfortable with it,
Yes,
that we're gonna
you
take
never
care
know.
of as a tattoo. He's just worried about the needles, but he's 11.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I
That'll
mean?
pass.
That's right,
Right?
exactly.
Yeah.
'cause
Is that
vanity will kick in.
That's right. That will take over.
I'm cute.
Yeah.
So,
That will take
I
over.
know how much it affected him, so I can
Yes.
only imagine.
Yes.
I didn't even know about this. This is just like, my
Well,
son
that's why we're on a
having
show like
injuries.
this.
Of course. And the
Yeah.
way that I realized was through a picture
Yes.
where he did a self-portrait as a monster
Okay.
with the same scars, and it clicked in. So it's
Interesting.
like it
It's
broke my
there.
heart. I'm
It's
not gonna
there.
cry on my show.
No.
There's no crying.
No crying.
There's
No.
no crying on.
No.
Okay, seriously, because it's serious.
But that
you know,
eats at your heartstrings.
it does
For sure.
So when I hear, people that have
Yes.
thinning or what alopecias
scar,
or any
yes.
scar, anything, any issue,
Yes.
trauma, accident, anything that's
Yeah.
caused them to not feel themselves, your company is where you
Yes.
can give people their freedom back. You know,
And we have
yeah.
we have a scenario like that where we had a young gentleman who actually got hit by unfortunately, an ice cream truck
When he was
Oh,
when he was a
God.
child, and he had a very large scar on the back of his head. And again, so there's something that just by their own research, they found into Scalp.
Wow.
And we were able to kind of blend that into the rest of his hairline at the back, so it looked more natural. He could
That's right.
do different hairstyles and things like
Oh
that as
my
well.
gosh,
So
that is amazing.
We worked with a lot of different situations and,
Yeah.
and emotional trauma and physical trauma as well going through
I
it.
think this is why we need you.
Everyone
we
has
need
a
you.
story.
Yeah, everyone does have a story.
So-
And you will never know until they're opening their hearts up to lovely people like you,
Yeah.
saying this bugs me.
Yes.
I'm imprisoned. I'm doing my
exactly.
hair for an hour and a half in the morning,
Oh, right.
and I want to be free.
Oh,
You know what I mean? It's bothering me. I don't
Yeah.
feel myself. All these kinds of things.
Yes.
So there's been some changes during COVID. So I want to ask about how it's changed your approach in the field, helping treat your clients,
Yep.
and what effect it has as a couple on both of you, as practitioners and also business owners.
Like, do we drive each other crazy?
Well, I wasn't gonna
No,
go there because I could probably work with my husband. I don't know if I could. Like, he doesn't even want to touch my hair to fix it. I'm like, is it curly in the back? And he's just like, oh my god.
A lot of people ask.
Yeah.
To be truthful, business-wise, COVID didn't really change our processes anyways. We're very closely audited by Durham Region Public Health.
Right.
So they audit us always and anyways, and so we were always sort of treating everyone like they had COVID
Right.
from the beginning.
Yeah.
The only difference is that we are a little bit more diligent in terms of the requirements for when the client arrives at our studio, that they have to follow a little bit more procedures than maybe they typically would, like wearing a mask
Of
and
course.
taking temperatures and things like that. But on our end, wearing a mask and gloves and all that sort of
Daily
stuff,
thing.
it was
Exactly.
always
Yeah.
sanitizing with Capside, all of those
Amazing.
kinds of things. It was a standard thing and continues to be a standard thing,
As it should be.
even more so
Yeah.
now. So yeah.
I love that. So I think that's gonna make people feel so much more comfortable
Yes,
that this
I
is not
hope
new
so.
to you.
No,
You're
no.
like pros.
No.
Just like the temperature checks due to COVID and the
That's
masking
right.
and
When they
sanitizing is
come.
just a little bit of an extra for
Yeah,
you.
that's
But
right.
everything else is standard.
Yeah.
So if you ever seen my show, I know that they have. I
Yes,
know. They
100%.
researched
All the
me.
time.
100%. You
I
got it.
always ask what
Yeah.
the takeaway is for our viewers. What is your takeaway? 3 key points that you want to leave with our viewers.
Do you want me to? Sure.
Go ahead.
I think it goes along with our authentic tagline referring to Scalp, which is, if you could change it, would you?
Yes.
And there's no salesy slogan after that.
No.
It's a question to you, because we're not here to sell you something. We're here to, if you wish to make a change, we can make that happen for you.
I love that.
So I think that's my takeaway that I would like to provide anybody that participates in watching your show, because it's
Yeah.
extremely helpful, and that's, I guess, the best piece of advice that I could give them.
Yeah, I guess I would say, you kind of stole mine, so, but I would say, if it's something that you ponder or think about or have to deal with sort of through the day, even if you came and just chatted with us,
Sure.
feeling informed is sometimes half the battle.
Absolutely.
So when you come for a free consultation and you just chat with us, sometimes we come to an answer that maybe it's not for you right now.
Right.
Maybe it is for you right now, right?
Yeah.
So I think feeling informed, making decision based on informed answers, right? Is my sort of takeaway. Come chat with us and then make your decision.
I
Yeah.
love that.
Mhm.
And what is the dream? The dream for both of you guys. Because I
Our
know
dreams
it's
are
just,
different
Are
sometimes.
they? But
I'll
that's
tell
okay.
you.
But that's good.
I'll
That's
tell you
good
why.
though.
Because if I could just stay in my little studio and continue the way I am and just continue
I
to
see where
make
this is going for
every
you.
single person that comes in there happy,
Yeah.
and it's just that one person at a time, I am elated doing that. For me, I don't feel like I need much more. I want one client at a time,
Yeah.
one happy person at a time,
love
and I
it.
think the rest would just follow.
Yeah.
So, but I think his is a
Passion
little
and
bit
yours?
Mine, honestly,
Yours?
it's if we could help more people
Yes.
with trusted hands,
Yes. Absolutely.
then I think that that's something that we're doing an injustice if we don't look forward
Yeah.
in how we could help more. And though we have clients that drive distances to come see us, it's still something that we would like to consider in growing and helping more.
Absolutely.
But we only do that in baby steps,
Yes, of course.
in looking first at how can we trust that the quality is maintained,
Yeah.
and then look at, just where are areas that we can help people geographically.
Yes. Absolutely.
So I think in retirement, we would love to just have a trailer home and just go around Ontario.
And
And help
just
with people.
check it out.
Help
Just
with
to-
people. Being of
just to
service.
circle.
You know what? I love that. I love that. Somebody else is going to steal that idea. You're going to grab that.
There you
No,
go.
oh my gosh. And that's why you guys make a phenomenal team.
Oh, thank
That's
you
why
so
the
much.
best.
Yeah.
It has honestly been my honor to have you guys both here.
Thank
you,
you.
Yvette. Thank you, Trevor. I would love to have you guys again.
Yes.
Maybe you can bring someone that is very
Would
open to
love to.
share
Would love to.
their story.
Yes.
I'd love to have that.
Thank
So
you.
thank you again.
Thank you so much.
Thank
It's been
you.
a pleasure.
Thank you for this
Yes,
platform. honestly.
Absolutely,
It's
my
a
absolute
pleasure.
pleasure.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That is all the time that we have for today. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next